Good morning, everybody. I'm Phil, the conductor, and Glenn is my motorman today, and we're going to find our streetcar out in the yard. According to this trip sheet, the motorman and I each wrote down the line we're working today, which is the 38th Street Camden line. And we're in downtown Minneapolis. And the year is 1940. It's just prior to World War II. And we're going to begin a morning run. We're going to pull out of Northside Garage on 26th and Washington Northeast. We looked on the markup board and we found that we're marked up for car 1321. This is a 5:45 a.m. pullout on the 38th Street Camden line. The 38th Street Camden line runs up North Washington, far into the deep end of North Minneapolis, turns around, goes back south through downtown Minneapolis, on out Cedar Avenue to 35th Street to 38th Street to 42nd Avenue South, where it joins the 34th Avenue South line. At that point, we turn around and repeat our trip. So now you're boarding the streetcar, and we'll take you through that part next. No, we won't. I forgot we didn't take our readings. We forgot our farebox readings. So the motorman gets his car ready. He turns on the air compressor switch. He makes sure his seat is adjusted right, and he twitches and fiddles with stuff. And when the air is up on the car, then we're ready to pull out of the station. So meanwhile, I'm taking the farebox readings. I have to write down the farebox number, which in this case is 229. I take the commencing readings, or the beginning readings. In this case, it was 00906. That is the number. This reading is in pennies. This is the number, or the amount of cash we're going to collect today in pennies. At the end of the day, we'll write down the ending number, and that is the amount of cash we've collected on our streetcar today, on our run. If you make a mistake writing down this cash number, you're responsible, because that's how much coinage has gone through this farebox today. So be sure you get this number correct, or you will regret it. The next reading we take is our tokens. And now let me show you what our token looks like. Here is a Minneapolis Street Railway Company token. Am I holding it right? Can you see that? I need to be
perfect. Don't move.
Okay. This is a standard size S token for small. There were two sizes. This is a bit smaller than a dime, and the S, or the L token was a bit larger than a nickel. And that's how this farebox distinguishes a token from a dime. And we'll show you that later. We're going to get into the mechanics of the farebox. Okay, we have our readings down, and we take our token reading, which is 2896. 2896. And at the beginning, or at the end of the day, then we're going to write that number down too. And that's the number of tokens that people have dropped in the farebox. Tokens came about in 1922 in this area, when the streetcar company raised their fare from 5 cents to 7 cents. And now we're getting into multiple coins, and now the streetcar company had decided to sell tokens, and you could buy tokens at quantities of 5. At that time, they were 5 for a quarter, so you saved 2 cents on each fare. When I was working, you got 5 tokens for $1. It was no bargain because the fare was 20 cents. But many people liked the tokens anyway because it was more convenient. You always had a token in your pocket. You never went without tokens in your pocket. It was a lot easier than getting change and holding yourself up and holding the people up behind you while the motorman made change or the conductor made change. So carry tokens, get on, drop them in, sit down, get ready for your ride. Okay, so that's how that goes. At the end of the day, then we take the readings again, we pull in, or we get relieved by motormen and conductors. Since we pulled out at 5:45 a.m., and this car may be on the line until 1 or 2 a.m., so we'll get relieved somewhere around noon to 2 p.m. by another crew, and they'll finish the day and pull in with the streetcar. So that's it. The next part of this, I'm going to show you some mechanical things about these fare boxes. Today, we're out on the 38th Street Camden line. You're about to get on the streetcar in downtown Minneapolis, and now use your imagination because here we go. You're getting on the back door because this is a 2-man streetcar. That means the motorman is up front and the conductor is in the back. The conductor is collecting the fares as you board the back door of the streetcar. Passengers leaving the streetcar get off the front door. This is called a 2-man operation. That's what the street railway system's called in the United States. Later on, as a cost-saving measure, the conductor's position was eliminated. The fare box was put up in the front of the car. Passengers boarded the front and got off the back. Now, what happened there was that saved one position, the salary, benefits, what have you. The motorman had to learn how to handle fares, collect fares, and so on. Passengers board the streetcar, they drop their coins in the fare box. I didn't have coins in my hand like I should have. So the fare on the streetcar, when streetcar service ended, was 20 cents. Passengers dropped 2 dimes in the fare box. The conductor looked at this inspection plate, can you see that? Made sure it was 2 dimes and not some other combination of coins that did not equal 20 cents. Now you could drop in nickels, pennies, or whatever, not quarters, to equal 20. When your fare was satisfactory, he would drop that fare down into this counter system, which then showed up on the coin reading. And if you'll notice the coin reading 00906. When I crank this, it counts those 2 dimes. And you see what that number is now? 00926. It records that 26 or 20 cents worth of coins were ground through. Now, here are those 2 dimes. The conductor or motorman has to account for those, so he puts those 2 dimes along with all the other change that passengers have dropped in the fare box into his changer. Back in the day, passengers could get on with different combinations of coins like quarters or 50-cent pieces or dollar bills, and the conductor or motorman or bus driver made change. That's eliminated now. Now you have to board your vehicle with exact fare. Today, we can use our Visa or MasterCards. We can buy a renewable fare card and several other combinations which I'll get into later. So now we're going to pause the camera a minute while I get ready to show you how the day starts for the motorman or conductor. Hi, Phil, bus old man here. We're going to be streetcar old man today. Once in a while, a bent coin would get into these fare boxes and jam the works. So the operator could not turn this crank. When that happened, he would call the station. You must stop everything and call the station and report a broken fare box. Now that does not stop passengers from dropping their coins in. You still collect fares. The streetcar company isn't going to give free rides come hell or high water. So you're going to drop, the passengers are going to, okay, when the repairman comes, so here I am, I brought another fare box with me, and I'm going to take this fare box off just by pulling it out. See those slots? The Johnson fare boxes all had that. This is a standard fitting for fare boxes. He's taking it to the shop. He's putting a good fare box in its place, and he's on his way back to the shop. You're taking the new readings. You see what here? Here's a place for a second fare box. And you're going to take those readings just as you did before and continue your trip. Now, that exchange of fare boxes as a result of this quick and easy slide-in system isn't going to delay your run more than 30 seconds. Because if it does, you're going to get behind schedule. The streetcar behind you is going to catch up, and now you got your passengers and his passengers. So you need to get going and make up your time. Okay, in the shop, and this is where some of the videos show this. There are 3 videos, and each of them shows something, but I'm going to show you how. Then there's a seal on this end, which is gone now, of course. And you pull this out, and I need my vice grips, and I forgot to get it. At every car barn is a fare box shop, and there's a technician who does nothing but overhaul fare boxes. I was going to say a guy that does nothing but overhaul fare boxes, but some of you folks might get a little twitchy about my referring to people that work on stuff as men. We can't say workmen anymore, so we have to. Okay, so now he pulls this box apart just like this. You see how he slides the machinery out, and in here is the counter mechanism, and that's what this looks like without this shroud. And what this is a device that operates when the coins are dropped in. They land on this, where this turns, and the coins trip these levers, and that's how it's determined the size of the coin, and that's how these numbers register. It would take about another 20 minutes to get this apart any farther, but what happens in here is where the counting goes on. And when the right size coin moves the correct combination of levers, including this one, that's what determines what's registered in the counter. Now keep in mind that the coin counter counts coins in the value of 1 cent. So in other words, a penny moves the dial 1 digit. If it's a nickel, it would move the dial 2 digits. If it's a dime, it would move the dial two dials. So this would move to 3 and this would move to 6. A dime with 26 is 36, and so on. When this gets to 99, this will roll over. So you might say this is dollars and this is cents. So the machine counts in terms of 1 cent and so on. As far as tokens go, you don't count the value of the token, you just count the quantity of tokens, because the value of tokens changes as the fare changes, okay? Now, look here, and you'll see some of the tamper-proof features of this fare box. See this little ball with the chain hanging off of it? If the crew decides to steal money, they're going to try and shake coins by tipping this fare box upside down. If they do, that ball is going to fall out of that little tube and dangle, indicating this fare box has been tampered with. A part of the security, you'll notice, is that when you drop a coin, watch what happens. Can you see this? Maybe I'll turn it sideways. When you drop a coin, see what happens? It goes through that little door. That's another way of protecting the coin from being pulled back out of the fare box. Now you may be able to tip the fare box to get that door to stay open, but then you're going to drop the ball out of that tube. And again, it shows that this fare box has been tampered with. Come over here and look, you'll see this one. Can you see this, Glenn? Can you zero in on this? Mm-hmm. You see how the ball is out of the socket or out of the tube? Do you see that? You can see somebody has tipped this fare box upside down trying to shake coins out of it before they go through the counter. Once the coins go through the counter, they're dropped down into this area here, and this is where the operator scoops the coins out and puts them in his changer. At the end of the day, when he's taking these readings, typically a day where he's carried 100 passengers, he's going to have $20, probably 15 of that in cash and the remaining $5 worth of tokens. So he needs to turn in $15 cash and the number of tokens that it's registered here, or any combination of cash and tokens like that. So that's how these fare boxes were designed to count the value of coins in 1 cent increments and the value of tokens in the quantity of the tokens. Remember, the value of the tokens depends on the fare rate at that particular time in our lives. So that's how the money gets from the passenger to the chief bean counter. And so I'm going to wrap it up there. I was intending to get further into this fare box thing. If you decide to buy a fare box for the fun of it, let me know, because all of these wheels and gears tend to bind up with age. And there's little tiny gears in here that seize on that shaft. Can you see that?
Pretty much.
And if you force this, you're going to break these little gears and ruin your fare box. And right now, the last time I looked on eBay, these are running $400 for a halfway decent one. So you get one, you have to be very careful about overhauling it. You need to use plenty of solvent to clean them. You need to be careful that you don't get any kind of solvent that's going to damage these numbers. So be careful, and we can talk more about this. There's nobody right now on YouTube that has a thorough overhaul procedure. And for me to do that would take about an hour, so I don't want to take them. But watch the other three on the Farebox and watch this, and that'll do it for now. The next video we're going to cover is we're going to go back to Richfield Bus Company, where I have a short video on hooking up the fuel and oil lines on a 4103. I know a lot of you have 4103s, and if you have them apart, this might help you a little. And the Long brothers are working on a 4103 right now, and they also have this video. But anyway, so I'm going to post that. Then we're going to go back and we're going to see the rest of Stan's bus collection. And then this summer, probably in August, we're going to go over to the streetcar line, and we're going to have a whole bit on city streetcars. And it's not going to be a bunch of run-bys. We're going to let you see what makes a streetcar run. Okay, that's it, Bus Old Man Phil. Right if you get working, hang by your thumbs.